Okay, this is the second part of a video considering the question, who am I? Probably we all at one point of our lives have this realization of there's a separate me watching this person. I'm not identical with the person that they call Muho. I'm not identical with this body, I'm not identical with the thoughts in this mind, I'm not identical with the emotions, but I'm the watcher. I can watch these, I can just leave them as they are. So when we are asking who am I, what we really want to know is not who is this person, but who's the watcher, who's this consciousness, where does this consciousness come from? And the mysterious thing is that this question arises. How can this question arise in this mind? In this mind that shouldn't even be aware of the fact that it's been watched by some transcendent consciousness. And I think the only explanation is that after all, this supposedly transcendent true I is not so transcendent after all. Maybe the so-called transcendent I is nothing more than a bubble that arises from this body, and maybe it's actually the body that comes first and the mind that comes after. Who knows? That has something to do that I explain, or there's a metaphor that I use when I explain about the mind, the posture of the mind during Zazen. When I explain about Zazen, I first talk about the physical posture, then about the breath, and last comes the mind. What I say then is, when you watch your mind during Zazen, it's like you watching a meadow and you realize there's a lot of sheep on that meadow. More than you thought there were, or maybe before you do Zazen you're not even aware of the fact that there's sheep on that meadow of your mind. And you might be annoyed by the activity of these sheep. They go all over the place, and you got the flowers here, you got the vegetables there, and the sheep, they intrude the flower bed, they go into the vegetable field, they start to eat all these precious plants that you use so much time to grow. When you take a good look, you will realize it's not only white sheep, there's also black sheep together with the white sheep, so you want to separate them. After a while you realize you've become a shepherd, and you start to build fences around the sheep. You separate the white and the black one, you keep them separate, you count them, you make sure they stay in the fence. The more you do that, the more mischievous the sheep get, and they jump over the fence, and the white and the black one, they start to mix again. It's even more chaos than before the shepherd appeared. One thing you can do then is, for example, you concentrate on your breath. Concentrating on your breath is like, you see that in the center of the meadow there's a big tree, there's a huge big tree, and once you look up to that big tree, and maybe also yet completely forgotten about the tree. In my case, until I was 16 and started with Zazen, I was never aware of my breath. And for the first time I'm aware of my breath, and this big discovery. When you just concentrate on the tree, you forget about the sheep. The sheep are not a problem anymore. The only problem is you can't spend the whole day just watching the tree. At one point you have to look back at the meadow and you see the sheep are still there, and they're still making trouble. So you can try to become the perfect shepherd and to control them all. The easiest thing would be to slaughter them all. That's what a lot of people try to do when they start with Zen meditation. They try to cut off all the thoughts, eliminate the thoughts, have an empty mind, no mind. It's a little bit like an inner Adolf Hitler, working there as the shepherd, killing all the sheep. No mind, no thoughts, no sheep, quiet. order, law and order. But it doesn't work. Fortunately, it doesn't work. The sheep are stronger than the shepherd, and the more the shepherd gets neurotic, the more chaos the sheep creates. What can you do except gazing at the tree of your breath? Another thing you can do is you take the position of the sky. You're not the shepherd, you're the sky. So you watch the sheep do what they do without getting involved. You just let them do whatever they want to do. And if they want to go far, let them go far. At one point they come back. If they want to go into the flower beds, let them go there. Just watch what they're doing. And it's a little bit like this perspective that I took as a small kid. I'm the watcher of the movie. The sheep, they are part of the movie. I'm not a part of the movie. I'm just watching it from far away. And this can help to get detached. It can help to detach from the pain that you feel. It's not my pain, after all. It's just pain. But there's this huge separation from the world. And I think it's an artificial separation. I think in reality we are not separate. We are not as separate and transcendent as we wish we were. We are not that pure consciousness that we imagine ourselves to be. So I think in the beginning, taking the perspective of the sky can be a very liberating and enlightening experience. But after a couple of months, or at least after a couple of years, then we should come down again and not become the shepherd, also not become one of the sheep, but become the meadow itself. What I mean when I say becoming the meadow itself is hard to explain. It's a different perspective than the sky. It's similar in that it lets the sheep just be. It lets the sheep feed on the meadow, so you allow yourself to be trampled on by the sheep, you allow the sheep to feed on you, and after a while you realize the sheep have become fed up and they sleep, and you just let them lie on you and you support them, just let them be. But unlike the sky, you're not looking down on the meadow, you're not in this high, the eye in the sky position anymore, but from below you're supporting the sheep. At the end of the day, I don't have a good answer to the question I asked in the beginning, who am I? But I really doubt that I'm that I in the sky, that I sometimes like to imagine myself to be the true I. I'm not this person. I'm not this body, of course. I'm not even the mind. I'm not the emotions, but I'm something higher. Higher consciousness. I think that's, in a way, the trickiest illusion that we can have. And a lot of people in the spiritual world, the spiritual people, they fall into this illusion that I'm this higher self. I'm connected to the whole universe. But still, how come that I'm looking through these eyes and listening through these ears? Yeah, it's really a miracle, something that's, at least for me, at the present point of time, hard to understand. Why am I this person? Why am I conscious of this person's thoughts and feelings and not so much about other people's thoughts and consciousness? I don't know the answer, except for the obvious answer, because I am this person. I am Muho at the end of the day. Okay, so much from my side about the question, who am I? If you have any thoughts about it, maybe some of you have a better answer. feel welcome to write in the comment section on YouTube below. I'm not sure if I can get engaged in the dialogue, probably not, but maybe I can learn something from your input. Thank you.